jail for a long time. Go ahead.
And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat flesh, and they fed in a meadow.
Now this is Pharaoh's dream. God is dealing with Pharaoh, trying to let him know that he's going to be a famine in Egypt. And he wants him to make sure he prepared for it. But he's showing them through symbolism, like fat, lean cows, 7 kinds, or some type of animal. But go ahead.
Verse 3. And behold, 7 other kind came up after them out of the river,
yes,
ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kind upon the brink of the river.
This all coming into a dream, and Pharaoh don't know what he's talking about. He don't understand it. It's going to come to him twice. Go ahead.
And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kind did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kind. So Pharaoh awoke.
So Pharaoh awoke. He came to him twice. Jump down to verse 8. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof.
Yes, sir.
And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh.
So there was none that could interpret it. And David's gift was interpreting dreams. He in a bad situation. And Egypt going to be in a bad situation, which is a bad economy. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in the ward in the captain of the guard's house,
yes,
both me and the chief baker.
Now David told the butler, Joseph told the butler that he was going to be out in 3 days. But he told the baker he's going to die in 3 days. I think if I'm not remembering serving correctly. But the butler remembered what Joseph was doing there, which is interpreting dreams. But go ahead. He gonna tell Pharaoh about it because Pharaoh had the dream. He was troubling him because he was about to kill everybody. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream.
Yes, sir.
And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. Mm-hmm. To each man according to his dream, he interpreted.
So he tell him what Joseph doing. Joseph's gift was interpret dreams, and he needed him. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me and he restored mine office, and him he hanged.
Yes, sir.
Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon.
When he got him quick, hastily, like, man, we got to get you in to interpret this. Go ahead.
And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh.
Go ahead.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that you can understand a dream to interpret it.
He said, I heard what you can do. You can understand it. Can you help me? Listen what Joseph said. Go ahead.
And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace.
See what he said? He put God on deck.
Amen.
He put God on deck. He said, look, man, God gonna tell me, I got to talk to my father and see what he say about this. Go ahead.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kind, fat fleshed and well favored, and they fed in a meadow.
Now he giving them a dream over and over. Jump down to verse 25. We don't read all that again, but keep going.
And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do.
See, God's showing Pharaoh what he's about to do. A lot of people don't understand. God controls all these presidents, including Pharaoh. That's why they all get so concerned about the election. He controls them. He gonna let this book run as it's supposed to run. He was giving Pharaoh what's going to happen to Egypt in 7 years. Well, 14 years. Go ahead. Let's see what's going to happen.
26. The 7 good kind are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one.
Now, he told him twice about years, and he told him about kind, but this time he told him about 7 years going to be plenty. You're going to have a lot. But the other 7 years, you're going to have a famine. It's going to be a bad economy at the time. Go ahead.
27. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years.
Yes, sir.
And the 7 empty ears blasted with with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine.
So it's going to be 7 years of famine after those 7 years of plenty. A bad economy. Go ahead.
This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh.
Yes, sir.
Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt.
He said, God is going to do this. So the bad economy that happened in our world at this time, God is doing this.
Amen.
God do this. He do it all. So stop blaming somebody else about what's going on in the world. You want to blame somebody? I tread kind of light. I'm not saying God, though. He's the only one you can blame. He controls it all. Go ahead.
Verse 30. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt.
Yes, sir.
And the famine shall consume the land.
So the family going to consume the land. It's going to be people needing food. They're going to be hungry, everything. But he got Joseph there. He telling them what to do. Go ahead.
And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following. For it shall be very grievous.
See, the plenty. So we get so into when we got a lot of money. Or we got a lot of things. No. Think about, okay, we got plenty here. Let me put some back just in case I fall off. Just in case something happens. We don't think about it as a whole, as a nation. We think it's supposed to run every week the same way. At least I used to think that. Some bad stuff gonna happen. In your lifetime, my lifetime, it's all about how prepared you are to survive in it. That's the problem. People ain't prepared themselves for the bad time. It's gonna happen. Go ahead.
32. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass.
Yes, sir.
Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt.
Now he said, look out a man and set him over Egypt. Go ahead.
Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years.
Now he tells them to take up all this food. Make sure you stack it up, stack it. Just like you want to stack that bread in your bank account, stack it. Because it's going to be a famine. We don't know when I don't know when your family is. You don't know when my family is. It's just examples for us to follow. God told Joseph to interpret this dream in a bad economy. That's what's going on now. Now he's telling him to stack this years of plenty of food, so it's going to be 7 years of famine. Jump down to verse 38. So he's looking for somebody to head this up. Go ahead.
And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is?
Now understand that there was a slave coming from the dungeon to rising up being second ruler. Because of what? He stayed on God. Amen. He stayed producing his gift. But most people leave their gift, whatever God gives. They leave God. Joseph didn't. He suffered through them 13 years. Go ahead.
39. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as you are.
He said, look, man, I can't find nobody better than you. Listen to what I'm going to reward you at. Go ahead.
Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou.
He's the vice president. Coming from the dungeon. See, y'all, a lot of people think their gift don't mean nothing, but somebody can use it. They got money. Just perfect it. Find out what it is so you can make sure you have it for them to use. But some people just lay it up and don't even worry about it no more. Keep working on it. Keep working on it. Keep working on it. Because in this economy, we don't know how it's going to roll. Just like they didn't know how it's going to roll, because it was 7 years of plenty. But God revealed to Pharaoh, you're going to have a famine that's going to hit 7 years. Who prepared for 7 years of house notes? Who prepared for 7 years of food? Who prepared for 7 years of car payments? None of us. Go ahead, brother.
41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck.
See, this is how you survive in a bad economy. He used a gift of interpreting dreams. Whatever your gift is, find that person that got that bread. Find him. Show it to him. You never know who it is. He can use you. This is how you survive. Keep your gift working. Let's go to Luke chapter 16. See, your gift is very little to you, but to somebody else it's very big. I never thought, for me, I'm just you myself, I never thought haircut would take me where I've been. I always thought I was going to be an NFL ball player. Period. That's what I went to college for. And when they cut me from the NFL, from New England Patriots, guess what? Jeff ain't no man, like, he didn't know what was going on. God gave me my gift of cutting hair when I was 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. When my dad was jacking our head up, I said, I'm going to learn how to cut hair. So I went to the barber shop and I watched this dude cut. I never thought I'd be doing this. Never in my wildest dreams. I went to school to be a teacher. And all of a sudden, when I was needing something, a bad economy for me, somebody said, hey man, cut your hair. I said, I do. I need somebody to cut my boy's hair. And from that seed that couple put in me, it grew. And I had to pay nothing for this gift. It was already in me. Now you gotta find out what's in you. It might be little to you, but it's big to somebody else. Luke chapter 16, verse 10. Let me show you something here. Go ahead.
He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Mm-hmm. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much.
So you gotta be faithful in the least. Whatever you think is least, be faithful with. Learn it, perfect it. Perfect it, whatever it is. He be cutting grass, shining shoes, washing cars, whatever it is. Y'all think that's so small. Them people make money. Have a joker come out here and cut your grass. $75 to $100. That ain't no small money right there for 1 yard. Have a joker wash your car. $25 to $35. That was my brother in charge. That's money. You add about 2 or 3 of them up in a day. See what you get. See, y'all tripping. Be faithful to that little thing. You ain't got to work for this stuff. It's already in you. You just got to find it. This is how you survive. Because when your job or whatever you do shut down, like I use myself as an example, my barbershop shut down, you're like, man, you can't go in there and cut no more. Folks say, oh, Jeff, what you going to do? Hey, I give them clips and go to somebody's house and cut. Simple as that. You finish with that? Mm-hmm. Let's go to Luke chapter 15. Let's look at an example here about a son who prematurely thought money was going to save him or make him have a good time. He thought it was going to last. You got to develop this gift in a bad economy. You got to have many streams of income. You got to find it. I got to find it. So I thought about driving trucks around here. Get my CDL. That seems like the only thing that's working. They gonna work them trucks. Luke chapter 15 and verse 11. Let's look at this right here. This is an example of a person who prematurely leaving his father's house. Verse 11. Go ahead.
And he said, a certain man had 2 sons.
So we got 2 sons here. Go ahead.
And the father of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living.
So did y'all know, son, like, give me what you were gonna give me before time. He ain't even developed yet. You know how some other young people like that say, man, I'm ready to get out this house, ready to get out my mom and dad's house, ready to go. No, you ain't ready. You think you're ready. I thought I was ready until I almost starved out there. But we were hungry. So the Jeff, look at Slim Tree, looking good, man. It just knew I was barely eating. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 13. And not many days after the youngest son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living.
So he took all that bread without a gift in sight, without the gift, developing a gift. He didn't even know what he just living off the surplus. Not the surplus, living off the, what they call that? Well, his inheritance. He living off that. He didn't develop the gift to understand how to multiply. He was just living off the money. He didn't develop the gift. Go ahead.
14. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want.
See? He didn't know that famine was coming. Just like we sometimes don't know a famine is coming. But if we prepare, like I prepare all the time for a famine. All the time. I don't care if it's going good or bad. I'm going to make sure I put some money back to help me prepare my way at least 2-3 months or better. That's what you got to do. This is how you survive. Go ahead.
And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country.
Yes, sir.
And he sent him into his fields to feed swine.
So you talk about a man come from a household that had a lot of money. His dad had bread. His dad had servants. He had everything. Now you feeding swine. He gonna find himself eating with the swine. Go ahead.
16. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him.
So he thought about eating the husk off of corn. He was down there. Then it came to his mind. What came to his mind? Go ahead.
And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger?
See? He came to his mind. He wasn't so prideful. A lot of people be proud to go out and do anything. He came back home. He's like, man, my daddy got hired servant. I know he got something to eat. Don't have that pride. When you fall down, humbly come back to the house. Go ahead. 18.
I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee.
So he out there sinning. Sinning. Then the bad economy came. We still on topic. The bad economy came, and he wasn't prepared. Down there about to eat with hogs. That's why you got to prepare for this thing. It's coming. Go ahead.
I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son.
He was pretty low. Go ahead.
Make me as one of thy hired servants.
He said, make me as one of my hired servants. What verse you at?
19.
Go ahead.
And am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants.
Go ahead, brother.
And he arose and came to his father.
Check the father out. Go ahead.
But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him.
That's my boy right there. That's my daughter right there. If she come back to the house, he come back to the house, I'm going to take care of them. They come back home, yes. Come on. I hear you. If you don't have that compassion in your heart as a parent, something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. Go ahead. Keep going.
And the son said unto him, verse 21, and the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son.
He was pretty low, man. Like, I just spent up all his money, tricking out with them hoes, sleeping with all of them, spending all money on everything. That's what he was doing. He wasn't developing no gift for anything. He was just out there having fun. Go ahead.
22. But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet.
Let's get him suited up. Put some gold on his hand. Put some clean clothes on. It's my boy. I'm going to put him back up. I'm going to bring him back up. But that shows us as parents, you got to have something to help your kids in this bad economy. Go ahead. Some of the parents, they worse off than the kids. The kids paying the bills in the household. They ain't prepared. Go ahead.
23. And bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry.
Yes, sir.
For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to be merry.
See, he was dead out there in this bad economy. He couldn't recover. He was dead. He had no money or nothing, but he didn't have that pride in him to go back home. But listen what happened to the other son where he started thinking about it. Go ahead.
Now his eldest son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, thy brother is come, And thy father hath killed the fat calf, because he hath received him safe and sound.
So he said, his brother like, hey, where all this party going on? He said, your brother came back home. Listen to the response. Go ahead.
And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment. And yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends.
Oh, spoiled brat. Don't worry about that. You got your bread. You got what I'm going to give you. You going to have everything from me. But he worried about it like your father going to leave his child out there offending like that. Barely survived. He jealous because he killed a cabin through a party. Come on now. You can't have that mentality. He was in a bad situation. The father just happy that he came back home from that bad economy. Go ahead.
Verse 30. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fat calf.
So I told you, he was out there sleeping with them hoes. That's all it is. He was getting in. Wasn't thinking about no gift. That most about young people are they want to get out there and they want to go out there and live it up and have sex. All right. That thing will come quickly. It'll diminish you. Go ahead.
31. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine.
He said, man, you with me. What I have is yours. Don't worry about that. Just enjoy the moment. Your brother home from a bad situation. Go ahead.
32. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found.
That's the main issue right there. A parent don't want their kid to go out there too soon unless they prepare. I used to tell my kids all the time, get the gifts that me and your mama have. Learn them. Whatever we can teach you, learn them. Just in case you might have to fall back on that your plan don't work out. While you're in the household, learn. And parents, be able to teach your kids how to do something. So in this bad economy, that you can be valued. You never know that little small little gift that your parent taught you could prepare you to a lifestyle that you want. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24. I ain't mean to read all that, but it was so good. Proverbs chapter 24. You gotta be prepared. Especially, I'm gonna get to the women too. They got a part in this too. Proverbs chapter 24. Man, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you like I said, you the provider. You the provider. You can't be just looking outside thinking they're gonna be peaches and cream because everybody's having fun. Don't envy that stuff, what they're doing out there, because them things can also hurt you. You don't know what's coming behind that. Verse 1, Proverbs chapter 24:1. Go ahead.
Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them.
See, we got to be careful looking at other men and what they're doing, other women and what they're doing. You got to be careful about this. And don't be envious. They're like, man, they having so much fun. You better get what you need so you can survive in this bad economy. Go ahead.
For their hearts study destruction, and their lips talk of mischief.
This is all them evil people do. A wise man won't be with those people. Go ahead.
Through wisdom is in house building, and by understanding it is established.
See, this is what we got to do. Through wisdom, we build a house. When you build a house, you go out there, you count the cost. Wisdom, meaning that, okay, I make this much a month. Can I afford this and eat? I make this much a month. Can I afford my insurance and my car note and eat? If you can't afford this stuff, the house is first. Don't go out there and overextend yourself. Because them little famines gonna come. Well, you ain't gonna get them in the hours, or for me, I ain't gonna cut them in the heads. You always got to downsize everything. Live out of one income. But go ahead.
Verse 4. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches.
See, when you got knowledge, your house will be filled with precious things. Because you're able to go out there and buy those things because you For one thing, a person that got some money, he's not going to buy retail. He'll buy wholesale, or she'll buy wholesale. I never understood that when I was coming up. I was like, man, why these folks come out there getting all these sweaters in the summer? No, the sweaters are cheap in the summer. Them polo sweaters and all that stuff, $100 sweater costs $20 at dealers, at Gayford, whatever you want to call it. This is how they get this stuff. They smart, the knowledge. They filled with precious things. They ain't paying, when I say retail, be paying $100, they paying $20 or $15 for this stuff. You gotta be smart. Go ahead.
Verse 5. A wise man is strong. Yea, a man of knowledge increases strength.
A wise man gonna be strong because his wisdom gonna teach him how he gonna do extra stuff that he don't need to do. He gonna use wisdom in preparing himself in life and leading his family, if he got a family. He ain't gonna go exert himself just to please somebody. Don't do that. Jump down to verse 27. Go ahead.
Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house.
He said, prepare thy work without, and make it fit. Meaning you prepare your check. You looking at what can I afford? Amen. Then I build. I know I want this $300,000 house, but I don't make the $20,000 a year. I can't get that. I want this $50,000 car. I don't make the $20,000 a year. People don't look at this stuff. They go out there and exert themselves and be counting on other people to pay for this stuff. That's when you go wrong. That's when I went wrong. Go ahead.
Be not a witness against thy neighbor without cause, and deceive not with thy lips.
Yes, sir.
Say not, I will do so to him as he hath done to me. I will render to the man according to his work.
All I'm saying is, if you do something for me, I'll do something for you. Don't be like that. If you got it in your hand to do something for a person, and you do it, God will reward you openly.
Amen.
He will reward you a lot. You ain't just doing something just because somebody can do something bad for you. You have to be careful of that. And I'm talking about my clients, but they always say, yeah, man, I gave you $5 for the next time. I said, no, man, that's a tip. He said, no, that's for the next time, just in case I don't have it. I said, yeah, man, take the $5. He want to try to set me up for the next time. Or someone won't even say it. They'll come back next time, get a haircut, and say, you know, I overpaid you last time, Jeff. I said, why you ain't tell me that? I thought it was a tip. Go ahead.
Verse 30. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding.
See, this the man that's lazy. This the woman that's lazy. This how they living right here. The field, his household, her household. Go ahead.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down.
His house messed up. His grass grown up. He ain't taking care of the business of the house. As a man of God. Read that again.
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down.
The man void of understanding. Understanding what? The word of God. Read that again.
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down.
See, that's how some people, they go by and I remember my coach used to say, if you want to know how a person living, follow him home. Don't listen to him talk, follow him home. It was crazy. I never understood why he kept telling me that. Like, follow him home. He from the old school. That joke out there tell you he got this, that, and everything. You know, follow him and see how he living. You'll know exactly how he living. A lot of people put on wolf tickets, y'all. And this slothful man, which is a lazy man, didn't do what he's supposed to do in this bad economy. He had what he's supposed to have. He want a lot of stuff. Go ahead.
32. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep.
He said a little sleep, a little slumber. Like you ain't got